Welcome to Flamingo MAHJ. This is Joni, and this is the Basics of Mahjong. Come along as we talk about the history, the tiles, and what it takes to say Mahjong. So let's talk about the history. Mahjong comes from the term clattering sparrows, from the sound of the tiles. In China, they say Mahjong. In America, it's Mah Jongg. And some people spell it two separate words with the two G's, and some people spell it one word with one G. And then some people just say Maj, short for Mahjong. So Mahjong started in China in the late 1800s, and then a man named Joseph Babcock brought it over to the United States in the 1920s. It became quite the hit, and he had his own pamphlet that he made up with the rules. Well, over time, people kind of came up with their own rules, house rules. In 1937, the National Mahjong League standardized the rules and came up with their own book. And this is their guide, Mahjong Made Easy. And then they're the ones that make the National Mahjong League cards that come out every year. So in the card, it shows you the hands that you can make to declare Mahjong. On the back, it gives you the basic rules. When I order my cards, I get the large cards. I get at least 4, so if I have people over, they'll all have a card. And the cards come out April 1st, after the Chinese New Year. You have to go to the nationalmahjongleague.org site to order them, and the site is kind of antiquated looking, but you know, they did start in 1937. It is a nonprofit, and they give their profits to charity. So when I learned to play, I read this, I like this book, this American Mahjong book. I read this, it has all the basics. It's good, so I would recommend this. You can get it on Amazon. So let's talk about the basics. When you order your tile, it will come with a key that shows you all the tiles and what they are and how many of each. Each Mahjong set comes with 160 something tiles, but for American Mahjong, we only use 152. So you're gonna take out, I think I did a video on this before, you're gonna take out the blanks and 2 jokers, because we don't use those, so we put those up. Some people use them, that's up to you, but for the National Mahjong League, they don't use the blanks or the 2 extra jokers. Okay, let's talk about the tiles. So in the tiles, you have 3 suits. You've got the dots, the bams, and the cracks. And then you've got flowers, winds, dragons, and jokers. So let's look at each one. So the dots look like circles, and sometimes they're called the coins. This is the 8 and the 9. The 8 has 8 circles, the 9 has 9 circles. And then the corresponding dragon with that is the white dragon, or it's also called the soap, because it looks like a bar of soap. So put that with that. The next one are the bams, or bamboo. They look like bamboo. Here's the 3 and the 4. Mine look like little plants. And then the corresponding dragon is the green dragon. Remember, bamboo's green, so that's how you remember that. One thing different about the bamboos is the one is always a bird, and it's called the birdie bam. And when you say birdie, when you put down a birdie bam, some people say cheer, and they take a drink. So that's the birdie bam. And then the last one are the cracks, and the cracks are red. They're usually red, or mine are more pink. Here's a 1 and 8. They're in the Chinese numbers. And then the red dragon corresponds to the cracks. The cracks are also known as characters, and that's after your character. What kind of, like if you have a good character. So that's from the Chinese culture. Okay, so let's move these down. Then we have the flowers, and they're really pretty. They look like flowers. And then we have jokers. And the jokers are great because they're the wild card. They can go in place of other tiles. And then you have the winds. And here's just 2 examples, north and east. So north, south, east, west are the winds. In the Chinese culture, they say news, north, east, west, south. So let's talk about each one. So the dots, 1 through 9, and you've got 4 of each. So you're gonna have 4 1s, 4 2s, 4 3s, total of 36. Same for the bams. You're gonna have 1 through 9, 4 of each, 4 1s, 4 2s. The cracks, same thing, 4 of each. So 36 dots, 36 bams, 36 cracks. The flowers, you have 8 total, the winds, you have 4 of each. So 4 north, 4 south, 4 east, 4 west, 16 total. The jokers, you have 8, same as the flowers. Dragons, you've got 4 of each, so 12 total. So that's 152 tiles total. So a good exercise if you're learning the game is to set out your tiles like this and to just pick up a tile and name it. So this is the 3 dot, and this is the red dragon, and this is the birdie bam. So that's a good thing to do when you're first learning. And then the next thing you can do is you can just pick up the tiles and try to make, so I'm gonna, let's say take all of the bams. I'm gonna get the 1 bam, and then I'm gonna look for the 2 bam, and you can just line them up, all the bams, dots, cracks. Or you can say, I'm just gonna pick flowers, or I'm just gonna pick north, south, east, west, and just pick them up. Then after you've done that, I would take your card, once you get your card, and just build a hand. Say start from the top and just build each hand until you understand how it works. Okay.